Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is August 21st, and the Mariners are playing hot baseball and exactly where they should be right now. And are some teams officially out? Let's do it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today? It is Monday. We've got less than 40 games on the season, and I'm telling you, I keep looking at the standings every day, and my mind keeps racing through stuff and questions that I want to ask and answer later on this episode here. The standings check is going to be a big one because I've got a lot to say about some teams. Before we get into all of that, we'll do how we always do things and start with our series recap. So let's dive on in. Alright, let's start things off with the rivalry. Boston at New York, the Red Sox and the Yankees. And the Red Sox opened the series with 7 runs in the first 2 innings, including a 3-run home run from Masataka Yoshida, as they have complete control over the Yankees, taking the opener, winning it 8-3. 3 Red Sox home runs from Luis Urias, who hit a grand slam. Connor Wong and Rafael Devers does the job for Boston as they take another win, taking it 8-1. And the closest game of the series was the third one, and had the Yankees hit 3 home runs and Boston hit 2. Justin Turner gave the Red Sox the lead after hitting a 3-run home run, but Anthony Volpe tied it back up after his 3-run home run. Tied up in the 9th, the Red Sox took the lead on a Justin Turner double. Kenley Jansen locks it down, the save. The Red Sox sweep the Yankees, and things continue to crumble for New York. They're now on an 8-game losing streak after getting swept. Boston wins it 6-5. Tigers and Guardians now play 4, and rain on Thursday sets a doubleheader for Friday, and the Tigers hit a couple of home runs from Akil Baddoo and Jake Rogers and end up winning the first game 4-2. For the second game, after not scoring a run the whole game, the Guardians took the lead in the 8th inning and scored 4 runs. They turned the ball over to Emmanuel Clase, who locks down the save. The Guardians even up this series, winning it 4-1. Game 3, a 3-run home run from Kerry Carpenter and a solo shot from Javier Baez, his 8th of the year. That kept the Tigers in front as they win it 4-3. And then in the final game, Spencer Torkelson and Kerry Carpenter hit the home runs. The Tigers come to Cleveland and take 3 of 4 from the Guardians as they win it 4-1. Pirates and Twins now. Michael A. Taylor gets the scoring started, his 16th home run of the year, and Pablo Lopez continues his scoreless streak to 19 straight innings. He throws 6 innings of no-run ball. That leads up to the Twins win. They take it 5-1. Andrew McCutchen hits a big 3-run home run in the 9th, which would end up being the difference in the game, as that kept the Pirates out in front, as that leads them to a 7-4 win. And in the final game, the rubber match, Dallas Keuchel took a perfect game into the 7th before Brian Reynolds broke it up with a double. The Twins' pen helped blank the Pirates, though, which led to the Twins winning 2 of 3 as they beat the Pirates 2-0. The Oilers and the A's now, and the Oilers scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings, including a 2-run home run from Gunnar Henderson. They would add 4 later on and end up taking the opener versus the A's, winning it 9-4. Home runs from Austin Hayes and James McCann helped the O's tie the game up. That would send us to extras, where Baltimore scores 5 runs in the inning to open up the game big time, leading them to another dub, 7-2. And in that final game, Gunnar Henderson could have had a cycle in the game, but instead won his 4th extra base hit as he had a home run, a triple, and 2 doubles. Jorge Mateo hits an inside the park home run. Ryan Mountcastle hits a normal home run, and the O's lead them the way. They sweep the A's as they take the last game 12-1. Rays and Angels now. The Angels are calling up their first-round pick from this year, Nolan Schanuel, who recorded his first career hit. Shohei Ohtani, he hit a grand slam, and the Angels saved the game with a triple play in the ninth to send it to extras, and they end up losing 9-6 to the Rays. Despite the Rays hitting 3 home runs in the game, the one Angel home run from Brandon Drury would be the difference as the Angels even up the series as they win it 7-6. And in that final game, Isaac Paredes, Jose Siri, and Randy Arozarena all go deep. The Rays pilot on the Halos in the final game, scoring 7 runs in the 6th inning. The Rays win 2 of 3 in the series and take the last game 18-4. Mariners and Astros, and what a series this turned out to be. 2 Mariner home runs from Julio and Mike Ford are all they need as the M's bullpen shuts the door on the Astros. Bryce Miller holds them through 6 innings. The Mariners take the opener, winning it 2-0. Dylan Moore hits 2 home runs in the game. Sam Haggerty hits his first homer of the year. Julio Rodriguez hits a major league record with 17 hits in his last 4 games. The Mariners continue to roll and win another 10-3. And in the final game, Eugenio Suarez hits a 2-run home run. Dominic Canzone and Dylan Moore both go 4 for 5. The Mariners get a super important 3-game sweep over the Astros. They've won 6 straight and are hot right now. They win it 7-6. Brewers and Rangers. The Brewers score 3 runs in 3 different innings, including a home run from Carlos Santana. The Rangers tried to make a comeback with 4 runs in the 9th, but end up a run short. The Brewers take the first game 9-8. Carlos Santana and Willy Adames both go deep in the second game. The Brewers win that one as well, beating the Rangers 6-1. And for that final game, the Brewers open it up with 3 runs in the 8th inning, which helped them secure the win as the Brewers get a sweep over the best team in the AL West as they beat up on the Rangers, winning 6-2. The Braves and the Giants now, and Spencer Strider was absolutely dominant in this first game as he strikes out 10 Giants and only gave up 1 hit in 7 innings of work. That helps the Braves get the opener as they win it 4-0. The second game, the Braves were down 1 entering the 8th and would end the inning up 1 thanks to Eddie Rosario, who hit a go-ahead 2-run home run. That home run would be the difference in the game. The Braves take another, winning it 6-5. Final game, Luis Matos and Wilmer Flores both go deep for the Giants. Orlando Arcia goes deep for the Braves. Acuna would tie the game up after stealing third and then went home on a throwing error from Patrick Bailey. We would be tied and head to the 9th where a bases-loaded walk to Jock Peterson would put the Giants up, and they would hold on from that point on. They would take the last game and avoid the sweep as they beat the Braves 4-3. Phillies and Nationals now. The Phillies score 6 runs in the 4th inning, including a home run from Kyle Schwarber, but the Nationals answer right away by scoring 6 runs of their own in the 4th, including a go-ahead 3-run home run from C.J. Abrams. Kyle Schwarber, he would hit a home run again in this game for his second, but it's a little late. The Nationals take the first game, winning it 8-7. The Phillies score 8 runs in the 8th, including 2 Trey Turner home runs. He started the inning with 1 and he ended the inning with 1. Bryson Stott also hit a home run in that inning. Nicholas Castellanos and Jake Cave also hit home runs in the game, just not that inning. The Phillies even up the series 12-3. In the last game of this series, it's the Little League World Classic, which is always fun to see MLB players show off the kid inside. They had unique custom bats, the handshake after the game, it's all very lovely. The Nationals scored 4 runs in the 1st, the Phillies scored 3 runs in the 9th, and that would be all she wrote as the rest of the game were all zeros. The Nationals take 2 of 3 versus the Phillies in that set and win the Little League Classic game, taking it 4-3. The Mets and the Cardinals now will begin a 4-game set, and it starts here. We go a big home run from the Polar Bear, as well as Tim LaCastro for his first of the year. The Mets take the opener 4-2. Nimmo and McNeil go deep for the Mets as they get another win, winning it 7-1. Pete Alonso, DJ Stewart, and Daniel Vogelbach all go yard for the Mets in the third game. Danny's was a grand slam. The Mets score in 7 of 9 innings and win again 13-2. And in the final game, it's the first baseman who homer, Pete Alonso's 39th of the year, Paul Goldschmidt's 20th of the year. The Mets win 3 of 4 as the Cardinals salvage the series as they win the last game 7-3. Blue Jays and Reds now, and nothing going on in this first one as we are tied at 0 entering the 9th, and it's one of the young Reds, Christian Encarnacion Strand, who hits the walk-off home run for his 4th of the year. The Reds take the opener versus the Blue Jays, winning it 1-0. Tied at 3, this time it's the Blue Jays kid, Davis Schneider, his 3rd home run of the year, puts the Jays up, and the game would stay as is as the Blue Jays even up this series, winning it 4-3. In that final game, Noelvi Marte makes his MLB debut for the Reds and got his first MLB hit, but the story was with the Blue Jays and the long ball. Kevin Kiermaier and Brandon Belt go deep early in this game, and then in the 4th inning, the Blue Jays add 3 more home runs from Bo Bichette, who is back and healthy, George Springer, and Brandon Belt for his 2nd of the game. The Blue Jays win big and take 2 of 3 versus the Reds, 10-3. The Royals and the Cubs now. The difference in this first game was a Bobby Witt Jr. 2-run home run to put the Royals up. That helps them get the opener as they win it 4-3. In that second game, Cody Bellinger hits 2 home runs in the game. The Cubs win it and even up this series 6-4. And in that final game, the rubber match, a couple of Cubs home runs from Seiya Suzuki and Miguel Amaya lead them to the series win as they take 2 of 3 versus the Royals, 4-3. White Sox and Rockies now. Ezekiel Tovar, Ryan McMahon, and Elias Diaz all homer for the Rockies. They win it in blowout fashion, 14-1. The Rockies score 2 or more runs in 5 different innings, including a Charlie Blackmon home run. They take another game, winning it 11-5. And then in the final game, a 7-run 8th inning for the White Sox helped them avoid the sweep as they beat the Rockies in that last game 10-5. Marlins and Dodgers now, and the Marlins hit 5 home runs in the first game from Jorge Soler, who hit 2, Jake Berger, Jacob Stallings, and Jazz Chisholm Jr. They take the opener versus the Dodgers, winning it 11-3. Game 2, a 2-run single from Mookie put the Dodgers up, and that would help the Dodgers come back in the game as they score 3 runs in the 8th. They get to come from behind win and even up the series, taking it 3-1. In that final game, 2 Mookie Betts home runs, his 33rd and 34th of the year, are the difference for the Dodgers as the first one put the Dodgers up and the second one gave them that insurance run as the Dodgers take 2 of 3 versus the Finns as they win it again 3-1. And lastly here we've got the Diamondbacks and Padres, an important 4-game set here. First one, a couple of home runs from Tommy Pham and Gabriel Moreno lift the D-backs over the Padres. They take it 3-1. Padres score 4 runs in the 8th for the only runs of the game, including an absolute pimp job from Fernando Tatis Jr., his 20th of the year. They even up the series, taking it 4-0. 2 Manny Machado home runs wasn't enough for the Padres as the D-backs stayed out in front with the help of a Tommy Pham home run. The D-backs take it 6-4, and in that final game, a grand slam from Gabriel Moreno late put the D-backs lead out of reach as they take 3 of 4 versus the Padres in a very important series, 8-1. Moving on now, we have our game of the weekend, and there is only one option here, the Rays and the Angels on that Friday. It starts with Isaac Paredes doubling in the first run of the game to make it 1-0. In the bottom of the first, the Angels answer. Mike Moustakas, he doubles in a run. That makes it 1-1. But in the bottom of the second now, There is Shohei Ohtani hitting a grand slam, his 43rd home run of the year. That put the Angels up 5-1. And of course, we knew that the Angels were calling up their draft pick, their 11th overall pick from this year, Noah Schanuel, who went 1 for 4 in the game with a walk, 2 runs, and a strikeout. Besides the point, back to the game here. Top of the fourth, Josh Lau, he doubles in two to make it 5-3. Then Rene Pinto, he singles in a run, 5-4 now. And then in the top of the fifth, the Rays get the lead, or at least they tie the game. Harold Ramirez, he doubles in to tie this game up 5-5. His next at bat now in the top of the seventh, he singles in a run. The Rays now have the lead. It's 6-5 Tampa. But don't worry, Angel fans. Brandon Drury, he doubles in a run to make it 6-6. In the ninth, they have to have a triple play to avoid, losing the game here. It was quite the play in general. Let's see here if I can find it quick here. Yeah, it was just a crazy triple play. The home plate collision, tag play. Yeah, turned the game around really. The Angels kind of had that chance, the momentum going to the bottom of the ninth. Couldn't score, so we had to go to extras. And in the 10th inning, what do the Rays do? They score 3 runs. Luke Raley singles in 1, Josh Lau singles in 1, and then Rene Pinto singles in 1. So in the end, the Rays win it 9-6. A game where the Angels turned a triple play, called up their young kid from not a young kid. He called up the draft pick from this year, and Ohtani hit a grand slam. What a game for the Angels, man. It's something that they always end up doing. All right, with that being said, now let's move into some baseball news, and we're going to start with Pete Alonso. He's got a story here. Mason Wynn, a shortstop from the Cardinals organization, he was called up recently and played his first major league game, in which he got his first major league hit. What happened after that, though, is Pete Alonso threw that ball into the crowd. Obviously, with certain milestone balls, they keep them for a reason. Home run balls, they track the fans down and have to do the same thing. But, first hits are usually very easy because they're still in the field. You just toss them over to the dugout. Pete Alonso threw it over the fencing, I guess, or over the netting into the crowd there. And caused a lot of people to be upset with him. Mason Wynn does have his baseball. He did get the ball back. Pete, I don't know if he thought it was like an error because it was a very tight, close play in an infield single there. But he ended up throwing it away. He said he felt bad in an interview. Afterwards, Pete Alonso sent Mason Wynn a bottle of 1942 and an autographed bat as a goodwill gesture. So obviously, there was no real intent with Pete Alonso there, but it is something I want to talk about here quickly and mention. And how about those Mariners on a 6-game winning streak? And how about Julio Rodriguez? He set a major league record with 17 hits in his last 4 games. If you go back from Wednesday against the Royals, he went 4 for 6 with 2 RBIs and a run. On Thursday against the Royals, he went 5 for 5 with 5 RBIs and a run. On Friday versus the Astros, 4 for 5 in RBI and a run. And on Saturday, 4 for 6, 2 runs there. In total, from Wednesday to Saturday, Julio was 17 for 22, 8 RBIs, 5 runs, an average of 7.72. Incredible stuff from Julio these past 4 days here. And the Mariners are playing hot. Guys like Dylan Moore, guys like Sam Haggerty, these guys are starting to contribute now. And they're right there with the Rangers and the Astros. And it was a big weekend in general because not only did the Mariners sweep the Astros, the Rangers got swept by the Brewers. So the Mariners made up a lot of ground this weekend. And the Rangers and Astros and Mariners, those 3 teams are all right there fighting for the AL West, and I don't know who is going to come up on top. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the standings check. But go Mariners, man! Now they're hot. Let's also shout out a couple of the kids here. Of course, we know the Cardinals called up Mason Wynn, who got his first hit. The Angels, earlier this year, they drafted a guy in the 11th round, or the 11th pick overall in the first round, Nolan Shanawell, who made his debut less than 6 weeks, after 6 weeks in that draft. It was one of the quickest paths ever from the draft to the majors. So congratulations to Nolan Shanawell, also recorded his first hit. The Reds called up Noelvi Marte. He played third base on Sunday for the Reds and got his first MLB hit against the Blue Jays there. And it was also announced that the Giants are going to call up their top prospect, a left-hander by the name of Kyle Harrison, a pitcher, will make his MLB debut tomorrow on Tuesday. So, we're getting to that point where September call-ups will be a thing soon. So we'll be seeing a lot of kids make some debuts and get some playing time in the majors. But just wanted to give out a special mention to those four. Three of them all got their major league hits in their first game, and one of them is about to make his debut tomorrow. So good for all of them there. This last bit of news here is something I want to talk about really quickly here. It'll take over into the standings check as well. But the Angels, the Yankees, and the Padres, three teams that I don't know if they're out, if they're in, they're confusing me. The Yankees, they're on an 8-game losing streak. They're 9 games back. It's not looking good. The Angels, they had that joke game on Friday. They've been playing mediocre baseball. They haven't been playing that great. They're 8 games back of the wild card. The Padres, they just lost 3 of 4 to the Diamondbacks. That was their opportunity to kind of get back into things. They're about 5-6 games back of the NL wild card. Are all of them done? And I don't think so. I don't think they're done yet. And it's hard for me to quit on, these teams because the Angels, with their star potential, they could be in this. Ohtani's doing incredible things. Is Mike Trout going to come back soon healthy? The Yankees, I think the Yankees you can kind of start to write off, on an 8-game losing streak. They're 9 games out. It's tough there. But then you look at the Padres, and they're 6 games out. Yeah, they're only 1 game above the Mets, and I think the Mets are completely written off. But the Padres, who are 6 games back, the teams in front of them, the Diamondbacks, the Reds, the Cubs, the Marlins, these are teams that I think the Padres can be better than. And for the Padres, it's about to be either do it or don't because you're running out of time, and I gotta see it. And the funny thing too is that the Yankees have a better record than the Padres. The Padres are 59-66. The Yankees are 60-64. And I think the Padres have a better chance, not only because they're 6 games out between the Yankees being 9 games out, but I just think the teams that are in the NL wildcard race right now, the ones that are currently occupying the spots for the Padres to pass, they can do it. They can pass Miami. They can pass the Reds. They can pass the Diamondbacks. They can pass the Cubs. Those are teams who have been all surprise teams. No one thought these teams were going to be here at the start of the season, and all of them have surprised people, and to the point where you have to start believing in them. But we look at the AL wildcard, the teams that the Yankees and Angels have to go through are the teams that we thought were going to be there. The Rays, the Astros, the Mariners, the Blue Jays, Boston even now. The Angels and Yankees have to get games on those teams, and right now it's a hard climb, and with less than 40 games left, I think the Yankees and Angels are pretty much done unless a miracle happens. And the Padres, if they want it, they have to go for it now. But we'll get a little bit more into that during our standings check. Just want to talk about that really quickly. That will do it for the baseball news. And now we'll take a look at our outstanding performances, and we will start with Pablo Lopez. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks. Mitch Keller, 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 12 Ks. Spencer Strider, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, 10 Ks. Brandon Pfaadt, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks. Seth Lugo, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, 9 Ks. Cutter Crawford, 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. Jose Barrios, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 4 walks, and 8 Ks. Hyunjin Ryu, 5 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 7 Ks. Freddie Peralta, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 11 Ks. Yuri Perez, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 10 Ks. Dallas Keuchel, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, no walks, 3 Ks. And lastly, Julio Urias, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 5 Ks. And now a look at our standings check. And on the way I'm going to start doing this now is talking about the teams that are actually kind of going for something. So for the AL East, it's a 2-team race between the Oilers and the Rays. And right now, the Oilers lead that division by 3 games up on the Rays there. For the AL Central, it's starting to become a 1-team, race, and it's the Twins. They're now 6 games above the Guardians, 7.5 above Detroit, if you want to count them. But essentially, if the Guardians or Tigers want to make playoffs, it's going to be to the AL Central. So we'll have to see how that goes. For the AL West, the Rangers have lost 4 straight, the Astros have lost 3 straight, and the Mariners have won 6 straight. The Rangers still lead the AL West, 2.5 games above the Astros, and 3 games above the Mariners. After sweeping the Astros, the Mariners are only half a game back of the Houston Astros. That division just became the best division in baseball, competitively wise, to watch. I think all 3 teams are very good, and all 3 teams could win that division come the end of September. A division that is a 1-team race that definitely will not have any competition is the NL East. The Braves are the only team to 80 wins. They're 80-43. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and they're 13.5 games above the Phillies. It's safe to say the Braves will win that division. The NL Central, the Brewers are now on a 3-game winning streak after sweeping the Rangers. They're 3 games above the Cubs and 4 games above the Reds. I think all 3 of those teams could still technically do it, but the Brewers are the confident winners as of right now. And for the NL West, it is the same as the Braves. The Dodgers are there. They're 11.5 games up on the Giants, who are second. So I think the Dodgers and the Braves are safely going to be coming into another postseason come this year. For the AL wildcard, the Rays are 5 games above in the first place. The Astros are half a game above, and the Mariners are sitting in that 3rd spot. The Jays are half a game out. The Red Sox are 3 games out, and then you have that big gap where it takes you to the Angels, who are 8.5, the Yankees, who are 9. And, those 2 teams, who knows, but it's tough, right? But then when you look at the NL wildcard, the Phillies are 2.5 above the 3rd seed. The Giants are half a game back. They're only 2 games back of Philly. And the Cubs have the 3rd seed as of now. Diamondbacks, the Reds, and Miami, all 3 of those teams, 1 game out, all at 64 and 61, all with 512 winning percentages. They're all right there. And then after that, you have a 5-game gap between those 3 and the Padres, who are 6 games out. The Mets are 7 games out. The Nationals are 8 games out. Like, the NL wild card, technically, even though I've ruled out teams like the Nats, the Pirates, the Mets, they're all less than 10 games. Even the Cardinals are less than 10 games. The Cardinals, this is just to throw in perspective how close the NL wild card all is to kind of like 500 in mediocrity, versus the AL, which has huge power teams and then huge teams that are just dookie. The Cardinals, who we've talked about being dog all year, who have just had a horrendous season, they're 10 games back of the wild card, and they're the 14th NL team. The Guardians, who are the 10th AL team, or the 11th, they're 10.5. So right now, the Cardinals have a better chance at making a wild card than the Guardians, and the Guardians have actually been a somewhat decent team than the Cardinals. Like the Guardians have a better record, but yet the Cardinals have, excuse me, yeah, the Guardians have a better record than the Cardinals, but the Cardinals would have an easier chance to get in there. Same thing with the Rockies. The Rockies are 48 and 76. The White Sox are 49 and 75. So one game better are the White Sox. The White Sox are 20 games out of the wild card. The Rockies are only 16 and a half. So, I mean, it's just going to show you. But there's a huge race here. But it's weird because I want to say that, going back to the AL, teams like the Angels and the Yankees, I want to rule out. And the Angels are 8.5 out and 9.5 out, right? I want to rule them out. I'm not going to. But then a team like the Mets, who are 7 games out of the NL wild card, I've already ruled out. Like, I have no faith in the Mets, who are 7 games out, but I have faith in the Angels and Yankees, who are 8.5 and 9 games out of the wild card. It doesn't make any sense. But then again, at the same point as I do have faith in those teams, I do think the Rays, the Astros, the Mariners, and Blue Jays are all better. And I think it's going to come down to one of those 4 teams who miss out. Even though Boston's 3 games out and they're there as well, I think it comes down to the Blue Jays, Mariners, Astros race. I think the Rays right now with a 4.5 game lead over the Astros, 5 over the Mariners, 5.5 over the Blue Jays. I think they're the team that can be the most safe. So right now, it looks like it's going to come down to the Blue Jays, Mariners, Houston, and I guess even Texas if if one of those teams wins the division. But yeah, that's going to be your standings check there. And now a look at our upcoming series for the week. We have the Rockies at the Rays, the Nationals at the Yankees. We have the Blue Jays at the Oilers, circle that series. We have the Cubs at the Tigers, and that's a big opportunity for the Cubs, so circle that series. Dodgers at Guardians, Royals at A's, White Sox at Mariners, Red Sox at Astros, you can kind of put a circle on that series. Reds at Angels, that's actually a very important series. Mets at Braves, Giants at Phillies, probably the most important series of the week. The 4 seed and the 5 seed, the first wild card, the second wild card facing off. If one of those teams sweeps, that's huge for the other teams that are trailing, like the Reds, Diamondbacks, and Marlins. Twins at Brewers, Cardinals at Pirates, Marlins at Padres, that's a big series. And then lastly, the Rangers at the Diamondbacks, another big series there. We've got less than 40 games to go, and that will do it for our series, not our series, our episode. We are officially done here. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening, and I will see you guys on Friday for another episode. Thank you. Take care.